Thank you very much. Now we are here with step 4. And the step 4 we call money, riches and wealth. So this is basically about the definition of all these things. You know, you can't start to handle something if you don't know what you're handling, you know, what you're doing. You know, you can't start to put in electricity and do stuff, you know, you don't even know what's electricity, how does electricity work and whatever. And the problem is, especially in the Christian world, is that we don't know about anything about money, to be quite honest. I mean, I'm not negative for being negative. It is really the truth, you know. Unfortunately, we Christians we're supposed to know the most, but we know the least. Because we've got this apathy towards money, you know, as if money is something evil.
Yeah.
You know, the moment someone is rich, you know, it's like, you know, what's wrong with your life? You know, you're not supposed to be there. You know, can you not sell your stuff and give it to the world and to missions, you know? You know, people are, you know, the moment the guy's rich, he's stinking rich. You know, when are you stinking when you've got a lot of money? Now maybe you've inherited it, but at the end of the day, let's look at the heart of the thing to find out what it is all about. You know, Shalom sometimes presented this and he said, you know, he made an experiment, you know. He took money, he put it within a glass bottle, then he put the glass bottle on that table, and then he closed down all the gates and the windows and whatever. He put cameras there, and in the next place he was sitting there for 24 hours to see what this money is going to do, you know, to start to see if what is money going to do with each other. Make sure no woman is around there, because they will take the money and they will spend it, you know. So you need to leave money alone to see, you know, what money is going to do. And guess what? You won't believe it. The money didn't multiply, the money didn't become lesser, you know, the money didn't attack each other, the money didn't rotten, the money, nothing, the money just stayed money.
Didn't steal.
The money didn't steal anything else, you know, the money didn't pleeg bedrog, you know, what is that? Fraud or anything, you know, and he basically found out, you know, there's nothing wrong with money. I mean, money is neutral in a big sense. At least money is neutral. At least money is neutral. Money cannot be wrong. Because, you know, the root of a problem doesn't ever lie in money. It is the love of money that is the problem. The moment when you live with a low identity consciousness of yourself, and I give you money, then money will start to talk to you and you will do stuff that you must not do. Because, you know, for me to see what's in your heart, I can give you 1,000 rand, and then after the end of the week I will ask you, what have you done with the 1,000 rand? And I will know where is the worship in your heart. Because the moment I put money in your hands will do what is in your heart. You will spend the money on places and things that is of value for yourself. And that doesn't say some stuff are wrong or not wrong, you know, because sometimes you need something, you need to buy something, but what is at the moment of value for you, you will do with the money. And when we look at the long run in your life, we will see what is the worship in your heart, because money will show me what is the worship in your heart. And you know, money can talk. You know, I've all told people money can talk, you know, till the first day I've got R1 million in my hand. I tell you, that R1 million speaks enormously loud without any words. You start to see things that you've never seen. You start to develop desires that you've never known of, you know. I mean, suddenly you just feel it's as if something is tickling you, you know, and it's because of this R1 million that's in your hand. Now what's the problem? The problem is money speaks. Money's got an enormous influence upon us. And it's not wrong. The problem is, where are you? Because if you see yourself as nothing, you'll have a problem. Money. That's why we have the situation that 97% of people that get money from the lotto do not have it after 3 years. Why? Because if you can manage $1 million, I tell you, you will have the $1 million. Because the problem is not to get the $1 million. The problem is to handle and manage the $1 million. Because money is alive. Money knows where money is safe. And money will not go to a person where money is not safe. That's why the people that have lots do get more and more and more. Why? Because they know how to handle money, that money feels safe and money feels comfortable with them. How comfortable feel money in your life? The Bible says money flies away. You know, do money fly away when it comes into your life? Or what has happened with money? You see, and we normally doesn't worry about all these things, you know, because money is just money. But what is money really then all about? It's very important to define money for ourselves. Listen, in the first place, it is very important that money is actually what we have as a 100 rand or a 50 rand is not money, it is currency. That's another story. It is just a piece of paper that's representing some form of value. Previously, if you had 100 rand in your hand, it was representing 100 rand of gold in the Reserve Bank. You could literally go, and because of this 100 rand, there's a sign of the governor of the Reserve Bank. You can exchange it for 100 rand of gold. Nowadays you can't do it. Why? Because this 100 rand is not worth 100 rand of gold. Because we went off the gold standard 1971. We said, let's throw that thing away. Let's go and live in the debt system. We'll get to that, you know, we started the debt system. Let's start to steal from people. That's what we call inflation. We've got 10% say inflation. That means that your 100 rand, you will next year get another 100 rand, but you can only buy 90% value with that 100 rand. The value of the 100 rand is 10% less. It's still the same 100 rand. We call it inflation. Because the government is stealing your money legally every year. Of the original 1962 dollar, there's about, I think, 3 cents left of value. 3 cents. The rest is stolen by the USA government. That's the only value that's left of the 1 million, of the $1 of 1962. Is 3 cents. The rest is gone. It's stolen. People, we get poorer and poorer and poorer because they're playing a trick on us and we don't know what they're doing. And we must go into a situation where you beat them. Otherwise, you will start to save, and I tell you, you will save yourself into poverty. Because they even got their hand there in the pocket. And everywhere you are taxed and whatever. And somewhere we don't see that people they don't
make progress.
They don't make progress. They go backwards all the time. Why? How do you solve this whole thing? We can only solve it by, number one, to understand what are we dealing with here. Money is only what we have as money. The only real money in the old days was gold and silver. That's why gold is the only thing that if you could say with 1 ounce of gold, you could buy a suit, you will still be able to buy a suit with 1 ounce of gold today. Right through history. Only gold is the only thing that holds its value right through ages. Only gold, nothing else. Okay? So it's an interesting thing now to talk about, you know, do we need to invest in gold and have gold or whatever. But when all money systems collapse, only gold. People go back to gold because only gold remains stable. And then from gold we move back now to the currency thing and dan toer ons weer met alles hier rondom ons. Okay, so what is money then, sort of, you know, the money in your pocket? The money is an indication of value. That's very important. Money has its origin with God. But it is not that God has printed money. No. God is a God that knows who He is and what is the value of Himself in this world. Everything He created in His value, with His value. He puts His value into it. You know, and you won't fool God. You know, when I sit here and I say, listen, you can have this table for 100,000. Then you say, no man, you know, I've seen a table like this in a shop for let's say 10,000. How do you know that? I've read the label. Because the label is the indication of the value of the table. The amount of money that you must exchange. Do you know that to pay you out from the devil, Jesus had to give His precious life. You were bought with His precious blood. Because you were in your sinner state. You were worth the blood of Jesus Christ. No one can fool God. He knows that even though you were a sinner, you were still a person of value. Because the fall of man could never steal your value. You see, you can take this 50, let's say this 5 rand, you know, you can put it in the mud, you know, you can put it there in the oven and, you know, you can whatever. It still remain 5 rand because the value is still 5 rand. You know, because it doesn't mean if it's dirty or not dirty. The point is that there's some value to things, and you must develop the capacity to start to look with value eyes. You know, what is of value around here? What is valuable in your life? You know, when we married, we said to ourselves, it's not a right and a wrong, we want Marianne to be at home. That's for ourselves valuable. So we made plans for her to be at home with the children. That was for us valuable. For some people it's not valuable, it is not a right and a wrong, it's just what is valuable for you. Because whatever is valuable, you will start to follow, you will create it, you will do it, and you will get yourself to that point. So money is a medium of exchange that communicates value. You're not going to give me 100,000 for the table. You will give me only, say, 10,000, because that is the real average value, say, for the table. And we need to understand that money is the language of this world, people, and it's not wrong that money is the language of this world, because money speaks of value, and God speaks value. We must just make sure that our value systems stay correct. Because I can sort of impress you, you know, that maybe in that feet of this table there's gold inside, you know, therefore it is really worth 100,000, you know, and then you buy it for 100,000 and then you open it up and there's no gold in it. You know, that's not the right way of selling thing and give some person an impression of something of value that is not really of value that you have sold it for. Okay, so value is very important, and you must, as we said, not be impressed by value that is not maybe there at the end of the day. In Philippians 4 verse 18 it's saying that finances are a lovely fragrance, an agreeable sacrifice that is well pleasing to God. People, at least money is neutral, but money is more than neutral. Money is good. Money is from God. It is well pleasing to God. It is a good sacrifice or a fragrance for God. Why? Because, you know, I've worked today, I've worked hard and I've made 1,000 rand. Now I take this 1,000 rand out of my pocket for my services and I give you this 1,000 rand. You know, it looks that I give you 1,000 rand. No, I give you 1,000 rand of life. You must see it in another way. That 1,000 rand is representing my daily work here that I've made profit. That is my blood money, if you can say. That is my life in that money, because I put a whole day of work into to get this 1,000 rand. And when I give you 1,000 rand, I give you much more than 1,000 rand. I give you a piece of my life. I give you a day of my life. And when we start to realize these things, you know, we say to each other, but won't it not be good if we can build a portfolio where when we die and all our children can inherit, say, at least a house? I mean, just that was a thought. Then we realize, you know, the average person spent full time working 7 years to pay off a house. If you take your whole pay and you put it in your house, you work more or less 7 years. So the moment my children can inherit a house, I give them 7 years of their life back. Now that's a big present, eh? Because now you may be 25, you get a house. You're going to work 7 years, 25 to 32, the whole day to get that house. But now suddenly I give you a house. Now you have 7 years that you're going to work and you can use the money for yourself, not on your house. Because you got the house for free. A house is 7 years of life on earth. That is what an average house is all about. Because that is what it is. That's the value in it. You know, okay, it's a house, listen, it's not only a house, it's not only 1,000 rand. The value in it is a certain amount of energy, of life that you've put into it. And when we receive it, we must see it in that light, and we must handle it with that thankfulness that, listen, I've received some life from some person. I haven't worked for that 1,000 rand. You haven't worked for it. I worked for it. I worked for the whatever way, maybe for the house or whatever. And we're receiving years. Listen, we've said the most precious thing is time. I give you 7 years of my life. I transfer 7 years of my life into your life when I give you a home. That's incredible. When I transfer 2 houses to you, so if you can say it like that, I give you 14 years of life. I mean, if I take like, let's say the average house that we're handling, we make say about 15,000 out of one house. Now, if you get today 15,000 in a pension, then you are part of the 10% richest people in South Africa in pension. Because only 10% people with pensions get 15,000 and more. Only 1% people in South Africa get 25,000 and more pension. Only 1%. So you are a very lucky guy when you get a house that gives you 15%. It means that you never need to work even for pension. The house is already there. That's my pension. I mean, most people, that's our biggest problem. It's not only to become financially free, it's the pension question. It is an enormously big question that people can't answer. We will look at that, how to think about pension. It's not so difficult, but it is maybe one of our biggest problems, how to get there. Okay, so money is a sweet smell, a sacrifice, well acceptable, well pleasing to God. Hey, come on. If that is what money is, you can just as well have a lot of it. Because you can do a lot with it. That's pleasing to God. Do you think it's pleasing to God when you help other people, out of their problems, and you buy for them stuff and you can pay for their studies and whatever? Do you think it's pleasing to God? Of course it's pleasing to God. So why are we not doing it? You can get rewarded even for that in heaven. But the problem is this. You can't give someone else something if you do not have enough for yourself. One of the first things that we need to learn in MoneyWise is that there's nothing free on earth in essence. Because everything is worked for by someone somewhere. You can get something for free. We've talked about the houses, we will get there. But in essence, anything was created and worked for in a certain way. And I need to get to the point to say, listen, get out of the thinking, where can I get a grant from the government and a donation from there and a donation from there. Listen, it's not wrong to get donations and whatever, but listen, get your mind to the plan and make yourself responsible for your plan, in and out. Don't bargain on your parent and your inheritance and whatever. Get a plan for yourself and make yourself responsible to get it and sort it out. Because you must get that skill. But you must get to a point where you have more than for yourself. If you battle to buy for yourself food, how can you give food to other people? You don't even have enough for your own house. So you have to think far bigger than just for yourself. Most people only think till they retire or till they die. I must just have enough till they die. Listen, if you die and you have consumed 7 million, I want to make a suggestion that if you don't leave 7 million when you die, dan was jy 'n vampire op earth, man. Jy het net kom leeg suig hierso. You're supposed to leave something around here. Leave something for the next generation. Why not? You say, yeah, but that's difficult. No, it's in your mind only. You tell your mind it's difficult. And then the moment you say it, it is impossible for you to live it. The moment you say to yourself, I'm going to live it like that, I'm going to do it, I tell you, you will live it. It is a question of what do you decide upon. I'm not saying it is compulsory. I'm just saying, maybe it's good. Just not to live life, and then the children get each one, 3,000 or whatever, But to leave something substantially for the next generation. Why not? But to educate also the next generation, not to consume everything. But we're only thinking in terms of survival. If I just have enough. Listen, get out of that thinking. I always ask people this question, where is the community in your budget? Yeah, but I can't even have enough for myself. I say, but that's the problem. You're always working with a poverty. There's not even enough for yourself. Listen, put some 3 other people on your budget and help them to study or this or this or this or that. Get expanded. Yeah, but how am I going to get it? Well, get yourself so stretched that, you had to make some plan. Get to a place where you say, but listen, this is supposed to be the normal. I'm not supposed to just get through. I'm supposed to live life in abundance. And abundance is to sow into other people's lives. Where is the abundance? It's in here, but we never get it out. Because we look at money and we feel scared, and the scarcity and, listen, the problem is not that we work with a closed concept. At the moment the government is thinking there's X amount of money in the country. how can we redistribute it that anyone can get, you know? I mean, you know, if you take the money of the 10 richest people in South Africa, I read some article a few days ago, you know, and you distribute it amongst everyone in South Africa. I mean, it's like, you know, living for free for 5 days type of thing, you know. I mean, it's not going to solve the problem of the country. You know, we want to take their money, but the government doesn't want to take your money for them. They want to take it for themselves. But the problem is they're thinking out of a closed concept, that there is only X amount of money in the country. And that's a lie. Because money is not earned, money is created. That's why you get wealth creators. You need to create money. You know, there's a point where you work for money. There's a point where you make deals for money. But there's a point where you need to start to create money out of nothing. It's one thing to give you 1,000 and say, win a deal and give me 7,000 back. It's another way to say to you, yes, nothing, bring me 7,000. You can do it. That's what we are. We are wealth creators. We're coming out of the creator of the universe. We can create out of nothing in that sense, because everything is in us. It starts in us. But we don't believe in what is in us, therefore we can't create the thing. And we're battling with this thing. Okay, so what is financial freedom? Financial freedom is basically to get out of the rat race. That if you maybe earn now, say 30,000, my monthly expenses is 30,000, because that's my active income, to create through your active income another income stream through investment where you get a sort of a passive income stream. That's not always passive, but you know, but doesn't take your active time every day, where you create another income stream that reaches, say, 30,000. Then you can live on that 30,000 and you don't need to work any longer actively for 30,000. You have it on this side. I basically said, if you can, there's a bit more to it than that, but it depends what is your you know, and what level of expenses do you live and all this stuff. That's true, but that's not the end of the day, whatever the level is. The point is that let's look at, this is a very important, let's say, chart. I don't know, a table or whatever that you can look. There is a vast difference between money, riches and wealth. And this is very, very important to understand this. There's a vast difference. No one is wrong. But you must go from money to riches to wealth. So in the first place, money is sort of, you know, it's very simply said, you know, I stand up in the morning, I go and look for a job. They said, okay, you can come and work here 5 days a week, 8 to 5, you know, then we give you 10,000 rand. Okay, now I discipline myself, I get up, you know, maybe it's far, so I get up early, I had to take a taxi because maybe I do not have my own transport, or I go by bus or whatever, you know. Now I work a certain amount of hours, I'm selling my time. I'm disciplining my body, I'm doing a job, whatever the floors maybe, or if I install some stuff for them, and then at the end of the month they give me 10,000 rand. I've sold my time. So if you get the 10,000 and you become more clever, if you can say it like that, you can get to riches by now involving your soul in this whole process and say, listen, I can make a plan with this. Every time I go to work it costs me 5 rand. But now I can go and I buy myself a scooter. And with the scooter, my expenses will go down to 2 rand a day, say maybe, whatever it is. So I buy myself some assets that serve me and give me more freedom. That's what riches is all about. You buy yourself a computer, maybe you later on buy yourself a laptop. So after hours, you start to make weird deals, like say maybe on Forex or whatever. You start to make deals and you make more money. But you bought yourself an asset, you use your mind, and then you start to wheel and deal. You're not selling your time. You're actually using your inner capacity and knowledge that you gain, or you study a course, and then because you've studied a course and after 3 years they give you a raise in salary or a higher post or whatever position in the company. So you need to go from just selling your time, you know, just doing a job, you know, I give them more, I give them some skill, I give them some expertise. Because people that give some expertise and cleverness and knowledge get more paid at the end of the day. I mean, you can go and sell paper, you know, blank paper. You can sell it. I mean, nowadays I see in the shops, the 300 rand, you get 5 ream. You know, you get a box of paper. But you know, you sell paper, you sell paper, you sell paper. But how can I make more? You need to get creative. Maybe I can sell color paper, you know. It's not only white paper. Color paper is more expensive. Maybe I can sell paper that's thicker, you know, and get more profit. But then I might need to make a different thing. You know, I sell paper that's written on, a few of them, and then I can make a lot of money. We call it a book. The moment you write something on the paper, you don't need to sell a whole box of paper. You sell only a little bit of paper, and then you get a lot of money. As much as what you sell a whole box for. So you get creative. You do something with the thing, and you put it in another level so that it is much more in need, and people want it, and then you can make more money out of it. So you need your body to make money. You need your soul to make riches. But according to me, when you start to add a spirit dimension to money, you start to get to a place where you create wealth. You know, I always remember at the first time I had a guy that taught me lots of these principles. And I remember one day he said to me, you people are so satisfied with what the world offers you. Because in the world you can get 13%, and if you can get 13%, people run for it. He says, you know, I am a wealth creator. If I don't get one-fold, at least number one-fold is 100%. Because if you take one thing and you double it, it's one-fold. Then you get 30-fold, you get 60-fold, you get 100-fold. He said, I do not do any transaction if I don't get 100-fold out of it. That means 100 times. It's not 100%. 100 times. Yo, you know, my whole being start to confuse me. I don't know what to say. You know, where are you? Are you an alien? You know, from what planet are you from? You know, I couldn't. And then he said to me this thing. I said, you need to learn to deal with money from the spirit side. Because the moment you can deal with money from the spirit side, you can get to the dimension where you can make money out of nothing, where you start to create money. He said, I don't work for money, I only create money, because it takes too long to work for money. You need to create it. Yo, what I tell you, you know, in that stage of my life, I was like the spiritual guy. I don't touch money because, you know, it's unlucky. I need to touch it to buy milk, and, you know, but, you know, I'm called from God. I'm in the spiritual world, you know, and this is physical, and this is, you know, even whatever. And then this guy said this thing, that money has got a spirit side to it, and he just got me. And I realized there's something. He said, no one has ever told you that, because the preachers don't know what is the spirit side of money, because they are the poorest people in the country. And I realized it's true. But that thing hooked me, and I said, I'm going to find out what is the spirit side of money. Because I was interested in spirit things. And suddenly it got me hooked, and I really found out there's a spirit side to money. It took me 3 years to find the spirit side of money, and to formulate a plan. And from day one, we've made 30-fold, and we could raise it to 60-fold and 100-fold eventually at the end of the day. But you need to see the thing. You know, at that stage when he told me this, you know, I saw him through some time, you know, how he bought a property for 1.32 million. And he sold the property 3 years later for 160 million. You know, I was totally confused. I said to him, my friend, listen, help me to make one such a transaction. Then I know I'm well off, you know, only one. He said to me, sorry, you can't do it because you don't see it. And I realized it's true. I don't see it. I want the deal, but I can't see the deal. He said, you must first see the deal before you can make the deal. Because you cannot go where you can't see. Everywhere, wherever you live, tell me what you live, and then I'll tell you what you see. Because you can only live what you see. And if you don't see it is possible to create money, you will never create money. And I started to see that houses is for free. I start to see it. And the moment I see that houses was for free, I could buy houses for free. But you can't do it before that, because it's a revelation. It is a definition of a thing that you need to grasp in the inside. And if you can't grasp it in the inside, you can't live it on the outside. You can live nothing on the outside that's not clarified in the inside. And I don't think that necessarily mean it will take you also 3 years to get there, because that's why we have a course. I didn't have the course, I had to go and study myself. But you can get to that point because the dimension is in you. You just need to start to see that dimension. And that it will unfold for you in a different way as than what it will unfold for me. And that's very important. You cannot copy me and get the same results. You must go and investigate what is in you, and the moment you start to live the real you, it will start to happen for you, the same dimension. But it will not be the exact same plan as my plan. Because all of us plans are different. Because we're different people, different phases, different skills, different development, talents and gifts and so. Okay, so with my body I work for money. I work for salary. With my soul I make plans and I get riches. There's nothing wrong with riches. But there's one thing that we will see what's wrong with riches. Number 3, we create money. As a wealth creator, we create money. We work for a salary, then we start to save, that's good. But then eventually at the end of the day, you need to multiply. You need to make exponential money. The moment you go over one-fold, you start to make exponential money. Because it's over 100. It's no longer 3,000. Then people phone me and they say, we're a company, we offer you 40%. I tell them, I'm not interested in 40%. Then I hear them in the other side, you know. I love those calls, you know. And I said, listen, I can help you to make 100% at least. And they become so quiet, you know. I said, can I tell you, you know, and then I start to evangelize them in, you know, in terms of the gospel. I said, listen, I'm not interested in your 40%. I'm only interested if it starts with 100%. And if you can't offer me 100%, I don't even look at the deal. Because it's not worth looking at it. It's not wealth creation. Why involved in something that's... You can if you're happy with 40%, it's fine. But you don't need to be happy with 40%. So you've got a salary, savings, but you cannot save yourself rich. I mean, it's a problem. Then you must get to multiplication. Exponential multiplication. That is 30-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold. In the first place, we sell hours. Then we start to work for a percentage. Now I will sell these machines, but every machine I'm selling, I get 20% from the price. Then you start to work on percentage. Now you've got more control of your time. You can even make more money. You can live. You can work harder, work longer. You can make more money. But percentage is also not enough. We must start to live in the fold dimension. In the first place, we need to discipline ourselves. Then we need to understand the principles in the thing. And then we need to understand the nature and the spirit of the thing. And the game lies in the third one. When you see a wealth creator, you see someone that's playing life. I once sent my Shalom and a friend of his to a guy down in the Cape, and he was making a lot of money. He was having R1 billion of property on his name, So I said, just let him be with you for a week. He said, no, fine, send him. The stories he came back with was incredible, He was just playing this game, I said, Father, tell me, Daddy, you can't believe it, we go to the office in the morning and we have a chat, about life, what life is all about, and let's say, let's read the paper if there's any problem in the country that we can solve, That's why they read the paper, to find the problem to solve, because solve a problem, you get money. Then they read there, about this. The education department looks for a building, like this and this and this. And they say, oh, let's go and look for a building, Then they drive around in town. And then suddenly we'll just stop there and say, look at that building. Tell me how we're going to buy that building. You say, oh, I mean, of course, as a child, you're not orientated to this world, And they're always talking like 10, 13, 20, because they talk nothing below $1 million. There's no talk about anything below $1 million. And then he said, but how can we make money here? He said, but Daddy, I only see people and fences and roads and whatever. And then this guy started to talk to us. He said, listen, we can do this and this and this and this. He said, when he finished, we see money all over. There's money everywhere here. He said, it's as if your eyes open. He said, but listen, we can get extremely rich in this road, in this only road. But this guy is just seeing it. He's just seeing it. He said, he took us to a building. He said to us, we're going to buy this building. He said, you two are going to buy the building. We're going to pay it luckily for you. So now I sent you into this building to see what's the value of the building and everything. You know, you come back, you will do the contract, present to the people and whatever. So they went through the whole process. And at the end of the day, he said to them, but listen, the calculations is not working out. It looks like a bad deal you're doing. He said, no, you don't understand. It's a very good deal because you don't see what I see. He said, the moment I'm going to pay this whole building. No one wants this building because you cannot make enough money out of the building. But no one has ever seen that if you put another story on top, you can put adverts all around the building and the adverts will pay the whole building. And then everything inside is for free. I said, that's the plan. And no one has seen it. You're the only guys that know it because I'm telling it to you. So they're buying buildings and they've got these plans and they're making a lot of money out of it, you know. And he said to them, Daddy, you can't believe it. This guy sits in his office and he said, you know, I'm feeling like a child that's in a sweetie factory, you know. It was 5 o'clock, they've closed it and they've forgotten that I'm in here, you know. I can do it here, I can eat here, I can whatever, you know. This is my factory. He said, this is life for this guy. You know, we never talk accounts and, you know, the problems in life. He said, you will never find this guy talk about problems. He said, it tells us, you know, they read there in the paper about, you know, they say there in the harbour is there a lot of rubbish, or there's a mountain of rubbish, whatever it is, you know. Anyone that wants to take it away can do it, but you can take what is there for free. So no one did it. So he went to the harbour, he found out, listen, there's a very big component of rubber in this rubbish. So he made his analyzers, you know, send it to the whatever laboratory. Then he found out and he got on the internet and he found a guy in China that bought this amount of rubbish for 25 million. He sent his boat over, he fetched it and he walked away with 25 million. Why is no one else walking away with the 25 million? Because no one else is seeing what is in this rubbish. That's the point. You must start to see that wherever you are, there's some possibility of making money. In everything you can make money. Everything. Anywhere you can make money. But you must start to develop your sight in seeing where is the money hiding. And get it out there. But that is the development that you are responsible for, to start to see. I mean, my child was changed when he got back. He said, listen, I'm just seeing money everywhere, because it is everywhere. But we were not raised like that. We were raised like, you know, the world is difficult, you know. We must count our cents, you know, and, you know, we must just get through. And we're no longer playing the game. It's no longer a game. It is like this heavy life that's on our shoulders. Okay. It's all about needs, then desires, then worship. It's all about provision, sharing, abundance. Then the wrong side of money is consumerism, the wrong side of riches is covetousness, and the wrong side of wealth is mammon. So, consumerism is just buy. It's like a therapy, you know, in buying stuff. Covetousness, you know, is the problem with riches. What was the problem with the rich guy in the Bible? The problem was not that the guy was rich. The problem was that the guy has thought that his riches is the end of the road. Riches is not the end of the road. Riches, the end of the road is also not wealth. There's another stage after riches, it's wealth. But there's something after wealth. It is redistribution. It is reinvesting your money into people. That's what it is all about. Because there's no sense in just making money and leaving it in essence for the next generation. I mean, you could as well spend that time with people. I mean, stop making the money. But if you can use it in such a way that you can bless people, I mean, there was last year or somewhere, you know, there was this thing on the radio when they said, you know, Anton Rupert, that's dead, has donated 1 billion rand to the university. I mean, the guy's dead. But his trust has donated 1 billion. That guy is still living around here, man. That guy is dead, but he's still living. He's busy living a legacy. Because he left something behind that's still blessing people all the way, although he's in the grave and it's going to last for many years. You can live far beyond your death. You don't need to die when they put you in the grave. Your legacy can go on. He's still living here. He's still sponsoring people because he built something that could survive him for many years. He's still blessing people. You say, because you haven't thought about money, it's just money, money, money. He packaged it correctly. He put up his, let's say, his will correctly so that money can be noted here and there and there and there. And he's still helping people, although he's dead. I think it is incredible. You know, do we not think we need more people like that?
Oh, yeah.
Of course, we need people like that. But we can also live like that. We're still reading the books of Andrew Murray. Why? He's a long time dead, but he's still alive in his books. Why? Because if Lord left us something. Now there's something you can leave that will outlive you in time. That's why we need to talk about death and inheritance and the life after. How are you going to live your life when we've buried you? It's a very important question. How are you going to live your life after we've buried you? Not in heaven, on earth. Because you can be still here if you want to. And do you know what will make it possible to be here? Money. Money is the language of this world. Money is the biggest open door to any person's life in this world. I've never reached out with people with money when they said, no, I don't like your money. I've many times reached out to people with the gospel and they say, I don't want your gospel, but they never reject money. Why? You can make friends with money. You can make many friends with money. But we don't do it, you know, because why? We don't have money to make the friends with. We don't use it. Okay, so what was the problem with the rich man? He's thinking that his riches was the end of his road. No, it's not the end. It's not the end of the road. What is mammon? Mammon is when you get so consumed with reaching this 10 million or 100 million that you're willing to tread over people and you know, you don't worry about people any longer. You are consumed in your spirit by this one passion, and that is to make this money come what may. Whatever is in the way must just get out of the way and must die, people or not people. That is mammon, and that's a very dangerous thing. So there is something like mammon, you know, but we must be careful. But mammon is not money. Mammon is you that's in the wrong place, position towards money. Money is not mammon. Don't tell me mammon is money. It's not true. It is your spirit being consumed by the impression of money, that I am someone because I've got 100 million. Well, you are the same person without the 100 million. You are not something better with the 100 million. You're just in a better place to live your life with the 100 million. That is very true. Okay, so money is a medium of exchange. Keep money where it needs to be. Money is never an end in itself. It's always a means to an end. Riches are bigger than money. It is all the assets we have, the homes, the cars, the businesses and the furniture. It's not wrong to have assets, but the assets is not a description of your identity. You know, people look, oh, look at man, look at his car, look at his house, you know, you must be this, but in the meantime, you know, it's all the bank's money. No asset of yours is your identity. Your identity is far bigger than your assets. Your assets are there to help you. It's not wrong to have assets. It's not wrong to have good assets, because it can help you along the way. But never see your hope and your identity in assets, in riches. That is very wrong. I always say it's very clear when you talk to a rich man and when you talk to a wealth creator. When you talk to a rich man, he talks to you about his money. You don't ask him, he tells you about his money. When you talk to a wealth creator, you had to force him to talk about money. I remember I've made an investigation and visited wealth creators. I tell you, you had to force them to go to the money subject because they tell you, listen, this is not my life. I'm not living for money. I'm living for people. I'm living for relationships. Yes, I have a lot of money. I'm making a lot of money. But that is not my life. If you only want to talk about that, you can just as well leave. Because that is not a representation of my life. All of them told me that. All of them. They don't want to be identified as rich people because they are not impressed by being rich, you know. They know they are rich, not before they even had the money. Because as we've said, we can't make you rich in money-wise. You are rich. You were born rich. You just discover your riches. You just manifest your riches and you just live that life that is in you. You say, and you know you're no longer better because I'm living in this estate, you know, I'm better than people living there. I'm not better than them. I'm not of more value than them. I may be more developed, I may be more of wisdom and more living with a plan, that's true. But they can just as well have the same. But it's their decision. But I've never become more and better, and they will never look down on you, wealth creators. There are people that's living very, very simple lives. I mean, like, what's that guy, that guy that's investing,
Warren Buffett?
Warren Buffett. I mean, he's still driving his car, he's buying his Big Mac or something in the morning, you know. He doesn't even have a computer at home, you know. Doesn't even have a chauffeur, you know. He's living a simple life. He said, listen, this is my life. I mean, is it wrong to have it? No, it's not wrong to have it. But you will always see these people, they live with simplicity. They live the life they want to live. They don't want to live a life to impress you. Wealth creators normally live in places where you don't see them, where you don't, where houses that's normally not so impressive as him living still in the same house since he was about, let's say, starting his investments. He's still living in the same house because, you know, for him, life is to live the life that he's living. It's not to live in a certain house and a certain car. And if you do that, it is also not wrong. The question is, why are you doing it? Do you want to impress people, or is this the life that you really want to live? Okay, maybe we can just talk a little bit more about wealth. You know, wealth is a holistic term. Wealth is much bigger than money. It's much bigger than money. We will close down now. Because wealth is a holistic term. It means the sum total of all your relationships is your wealth. Part of your wealth is your health. You know, it's the fact that, are you happy? Do you enjoy your life? Do you enjoy your relationships, your marriage? You know, are you satisfied in yourself? Do you have peace with yourself? Do you have sound investments in your life? There's lots of things, everything in your life together actually makes wealth. It is not only one thing. You cannot, the actual biggest identification that I can find of a wealth creation person is that he's conquered the relationship track and the money track. It's the only people that I found that have conquered both. When I meet a rich person, I see someone with lots of money, they talk about it, but normally they've worked so hard, they've lost their relationships and their family. But wealth creators have got a balance between the two. They've conquered both and they live in the balance of the two. They're not against money. They are absolutely making a lot of money. But they keep money for what money is. And then they come back to relationships and they live the life they really want to live. They are holistic people. Therefore, there are people that's concerned about health and sport, you know, and recreation and holidays and living a balanced life is very important for all of them. All of them. They are not these freaks that freak out in one thing, you know, and the rest is just absent in their lives. They are very balanced people, enormously informed people, very, very sharp people. Most of them are not sharp because they've got a degree, but because they have skilled themselves through years of education and inquiring from people and downloading from other people. They are very skilled and sharp people, extremely. I tell you, It's about it's the most, what for me, it's the most, inspiring type of person to talk to, because they can talk about life, they can talk about things deep, they know life, they can jump from the relationship thing to the business thing, they know things, they've got lots of mentors in their life, like a guy like Usaki, he's so, successful, and still he's got 8 mentors in his life that he's paying to tell him what he doesn't know. They are enormously informed people. They are self-developers. That is the main thing, how they got there. It's not their business. They are fanatics in certain sense about self-development. They will attend courses that you can't believe. They will just pay for knowledge. I mean, I know a guy here in Johannesburg, he spends 500,000 on himself every year, just in self-development. Just in attending courses and visiting people and getting to know more. And he's making an enormous lot of money. It sounds like for us, what is going on? But listen, if you can't prioritize yourself in the first place, what's going to happen with me as the priest and the father and the head of this home will determine everything for my wife and my children. So it sounds very good, I just sacrifice everything for them. It sounds good, but it's not a biblical principle only. You need to invest in yourself, because if I can lift myself to another level, and in terms of success, if you can say it like that, they will live in another world themselves. It sounds so good that we just sacrifice everything for survival. That's not the truth. We're not supposed to sacrifice everything for survival. We're supposed to invest in ourselves to get to a higher level of skill, make more money so that the rest behind us can live better lives. It's not supposed to be sacrifice our whole lives long. God says, listen, this is a game. In a game we play the game. It's not about, okay, give me a bit here, give me a bit, okay, I don't like it, but I give it. No, it's a game. There's enough for everyone. We're not fighting like 15 people for one ball. There's 1 million balls, man. Get yourself as much as you want, and start up 10 games for yourself. No, we're not in a scarcity mentality. We must get this thing that the wealth is a shalom principle. It means the wholeness of your life. Shalom actually don't mean peace. It means wholeness. How whole are your life in terms of everything? Because if there is a wrong relationship, it can invade the rest and bring a virus in and kills everything. Okay, Deuteronomy 8 verse 17 to 18 say, and so that you might not say in your heart, my power and the might of my hand has gotten me this wealth. But you shall remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the power to get wealth, so that He can confirm His covenant, which He has sworn to your fathers as it is today. I've never heard a sermon on that. Never. That it is the Lord your God that not only gives you wealth, that teach you and gives you the power to generate wealth. Because God is a wealth creator. He created out of nothing. So why can you not be a wealth creator? I mean, that's your nature. That's your calling. That's your position. That's your authority. That's your everything. And I tell you, you will not be satisfied to live in a shack. Because that's not your nature. I don't see people satisfied and happy because they live in a shack. They all want more. Why? Because you're supposed to have more. It is from God. Money is not, wealth is not a closed concept. We must move from money to riches to wealth. Okay, we can just close down with this only question, what actually then is success? We're living in a world where, when we live in a 15 million rand house, you've reached success. Of course there will some form of success be involved in it, if it's your house and it's paid off and whatever. If you drive a beautiful car, of course there will be some form of success in it, but that in its essence is not necessarily success. Success is not the point. Success is not an asset in itself. It is good to have it, but success is to live the life that you want to live. Success is to live that real you that you want to live. If it costs 1 million or 10 million or 100 billion, it's not a matter. If you want to live it in India amongst the slum people, or you want to live it in Mooikloof, you know, I don't mind where you live it and how you live it. It is not the point. The point is, are you happy with what you're living? Is it really the life that's inside of you? Because people are called for different things. You get wealth creators that say, listen, I know I must start a business and give jobs for 2,000 people so that I can support 2,000 families. They are just persuaded and they do it and then they do it. And they get lots of kickback in it and they live well themselves in beautiful houses. You know, but their motive was not to live in a beautiful house. Their motive was to solve something, to give job for 2,000 people. If it's not your heart, don't do it. You know, do what's in your heart. Be honest, what is the life that's in you? Define it for yourself and live it. That life will have a certain, let's say, outline, a certain budget, a certain plan, a certain strategy. It will involve maybe certain countries, certain places, a certain way of having family or not, you know. Be specific and clear about what do you want to live. That when you live it, you know, you are happy in it. I mean, I can say the life that I live at the moment is at least 99% of what I really want to live. I mean, I could see through the years, I could see, and I always say to Marianne, we are 65% on the road, 75, 85, you know, 90. And eventually now, I tell you, I know I'm at 99%. I love what I'm living. I love what I'm doing. I enjoy every day as if it is a paradise. You know, I don't understand why people are so anxious about everything in the world. Yes, it's not going well there. But in my life, it's going extremely well. Why? Because I asked God to make it extremely well, and I've done my part and He's done His part. Because that's the normal. Because listen, the government is not going to change, the world's not going to change, the global agenda is here, the Antichrist will come. And yes, we will feel it sometime, you know, it will maybe ask us a price. But at the end of the day, we can live what we want to live. And let me tell you one thing, even though they come and take away my house and my car and whatever, I will still live that life. Yes, it will be not so easy to live it with the necessary assets, but I can still live that life because that life is in me. That life is not in the first place in what's the things around me. The things make it easy and happier, if you can say. But nothing can stop me living what I'm living at the moment. Nothing. Therefore, I'm not worried about the future. Because nothing can stop me living what I'm living. And that doesn't say tomorrow will not be difficult without challenges and without problems. That's not what I'm saying. Every day has got its own problems and challenges. But when you find the spirit of the game, it's as if the problems just start to vanish. It becomes very small. You laugh at it because you know, man, it's just normal things popping up every day. Because we're still in a broken world. Things break, you know, like the swimming pool today and the pipe and, you know. And then we fix it, I mean. Yes, it's a lot of hassle, but we fix it. Why not? I mean, we can. We are bigger than any problem. We don't get disgusted or discouraged by problems. It's part of life. Solve the problem and you will make the money. Father, we thank you for this wonderful opportunity that we can embrace money, riches and wealth because it's actually from you and it is an indication of value flowing out of you. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity to be creators on this earth as you. That is our Father, the God that's the creator of everything. We thank you that you desire us to live like that, to create new beautiful things, to make any dry place a paradise, and to just let everything blossom that is around us. We thank you for that in Jesus' name. Amen.